Oh, for crying out loud. It's official, folks. Harold has officially entered his "please notice me, big brother" era, and we're all supposed to pretend we don't see what's happening here. Just mere minutes after Prince William kicked off his first engagement in Brazil, charming the locals like the natural he is, climbing Sugarloaf Mountain with actual grace, and basically exuding that effortless royal energy that Harry can only dream about. Who should pop up with an announcement of his own? You guessed it. Harry, with a totally, absolutely, definitely coincidental trip to Canada. Because nothing screams original thinking quite like scheduling your desperate PR move to deliberately clash with your brother's global headline tour, right? So Harry's Canadian tour began with him hanging out with reserve forces in Toronto, shaking hands with a serious expression plastered on his face, sporting that trademark beanie that's apparently become his entire personality now. The glaring problem? Oh, just that his visit oh so conveniently overlapped with William's Earthshot prize trip. You know, that little milestone marking 5 whole years of one of the royal family's most genuinely meaningful projects. Royal watchers didn't miss the suspicious timing for a second, and experts immediately called it exactly what it was: predictable, desperate, and embarrassingly transparent. Yet Harry's spokesperson rushed to deny any sibling rivalry, shocked face emoji, claiming with a straight face that the dates were supposedly decided months ago and were purely, innocently, about Remembrance Tide. Apparently, according to Harry's increasingly creative PR team, the timing was completely out of his hands due to those ever-so-convenient security concerns they love trotting out. They insist he can't announce plans early because he doesn't have the same protection as working royals anymore. You know, the working royals he chose to stop being. In other words, we didn't mean to deliberately step on William's big moment, we just accidentally on purpose did. Oopsie. Convenient excuse, really, but even the most forgiving, generous observers couldn't help but roll their eyes hard at this one. Here's a fun fact. Remembrance Day in Canada isn't actually until November 11th, so unless Harry's planning on camping out lakeside for an entire week doing absolutely nothing, his timing looks a whole lot more like calculated sabotage than innocent coincidence, doesn't it? Meanwhile, over in Brazil, William's trip looked like something straight out of a royal highlight reel, the kind you'd actually want to watch. Playing volleyball at Copacabana Beach? Check. Paying genuinely moving homage to Diana at Christ the Redeemer? Check. Inspiring actual crowds of people who genuinely wanted to be there? Check. Talking climate action with real substance and passion? Getting dubbed His Royal Hotness by adoring fans online? Triple check, darling. Across the Atlantic, Harry's pathetic photo ops told a very, very different story indeed. Grey skies that matched his prospects, forced smiles that fooled absolutely nobody, and that bloody beanie again that practically screamed, "Please, please don't notice I'm shamelessly copying my brother's boat pose from last year." In fact, the boat situation might genuinely be Harry's most desperate, transparent act yet, and that's saying something. As William sailed majestically around Brazil, looking every single bit the natural statesman and respected global leader, Harry apparently decided that he too absolutely must hop on a boat in Canada. Same week, same exact kind of photo op, just with a far bleaker, more depressing backdrop. The result? Pure, unintentional parody that would be hilarious if it wasn't so sad. While William radiated genuine confidence and actual purpose under that glorious Brazilian sun, Harry looked like a man doing a poor impression of a man who actually has a purpose in life. It was literally the Wish.com version of a royal moment, the cheap knockoff nobody asked for. You can almost imagine the panicked call. "Quick, someone get me a boat and a camera crew before the entire world completely forgets I exist." It's cosplay driven by pure desperation, and absolutely everyone sees straight through it. Let's be brutally real here. Harry's Toronto adventure isn't exactly pulling any global focus away from William's spectacular Brazil glow-up, is it? While William confidently represents a new, grounded era of modern monarchy, successfully balancing duty, family, and genuine purpose, Harry's giving off major cosplay energy, pretending to be something he clearly isn't anymore. Once again, he's desperately borrowing that royal gravitas he dramatically abandoned years ago when it suited him. His overworked PR machine can keep frantically spinning the increasingly unbelievable narrative that this trip was planned long before William's. But to the cynical public eye, it absolutely reeks of attention-seeking panic. Observers couldn't help but compare the brothers' completely different vibes. William looked naturally confident and commanding, surrounded by people who were genuinely happy and honoured to meet him. Harry, meanwhile, seemed exactly like that awkward ex-employee who crashes the office party uninvited. Nostalgic for lost relevance, but painfully, obviously out of place. Even the soldiers standing beside him looked mildly exasperated, like they knew full well they were participating in a sideshow, a circus act for Harry's ego. And then there's the delicious irony nobody can ignore. Harry supposedly fled royal life, constantly complaining and whining about the pressure of constant comparison to William. Yet somehow, mysteriously, every single move he makes seems specifically designed to mirror his brother's. Meghan's already been repeatedly accused of shamelessly copying Princess Catherine's every single move, outfit, and gesture. And now, Harry's blatantly echoing William's schedule, right down to those ridiculously obvious boat rides. It's honestly not a good look, Harold. If imitation is supposedly the sincerest form of flattery, Harry's somehow turned it into a pathetic full-time job, his entire post-royal career strategy. Adding to the mounting embarrassment, Harry's recent public appearances have been an absolute PR minefield lately. The drunken boos at that World Series game in Los Angeles are still ringing loudly in people's ears, an uncomfortable memory that won't fade. Even Americans, once genuinely enchanted by the whole royal rebel narrative they were sold, are rapidly tuning out, losing interest in the Harry and Meghan show. Meanwhile, William's global reception honestly couldn't be any better if he tried. Gracious, confident, authentic, and showing real leadership without any fuss or drama. The contrast between the brothers is absolutely brutal to witness. Harry's Canadian tour might technically be about veterans and remembrance on paper, sure, but symbolically? It's transparently about a desperately insecure man still pathetically chasing the long shadow of his more successful brother. He can talk endlessly about duty and legacy all he wants, throwing around those big words, but his increasingly desperate actions tell a completely different, far more embarrassing story. It's a constant, obvious craving to be seen, to remain royal adjacent again somehow, to prove to everyone, but mostly himself, that he still matters in the grand scheme. Unfortunately for Harold, every single new stunt just highlights more obviously how catastrophically far he's fallen from grace, how much he's lost. William's confidently out there, actively shaping the monarchy's future with purpose. Harry's sadly out there just reenacting it, playing pretend. One brother has genuine purpose and direction. The other just has increasingly desperate press releases nobody believes. The sad, pathetic truth, no matter how many boats Harry boards for photo ops, how many military uniforms he opportunistically borrows for credibility, or how many rehearsed speeches he gives to diminishing audiences, he simply can't outshine a man who doesn't even need to try.